self-serving, persuasive talkers
of everything and nothing.
We are Conversation Con Artists. What's going on, people? It's your boy, Mr. On Point.
And I am Calamity Red.
And we're Conversation Con Artists back for another episode. I want y'all to go to the website, www.conversationconartists.com, and check out our current episode as well as our previous ones. Articles linked to the current episode. And you can leave us some feedback if you scroll over to the left and hover over the mail icon. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Mr. Mister_on point.
And I can be found at Red_Calamity. Also, we are still doing the listener letter portion of the show. So if you have a question that you would like for us to answer on the show, you can send it into the website, or you can send it to our Gmail account, which is conversationconartists with an S at gmail.com. Today's question is about love. And about whether or not you think that you have more than one true love throughout your lifetime. This question came because of an article that said that we only fall in love with 3 people in our lifetime, each one for a specific reason. So I'm going to go through what the article says about each one of these loves, and you tell me if that sounds legit. Mm-hmm. Okay, first love. The first love happens when we are young, sometimes as young as the time we are in high school. This love fulfills the dreams of our youth and fulfills our idealistic belief of what we expect love to look like, just like the fairy tales. This love fulfills our need to live up to society's expectations. We jump into this love head first, believing that this person will be our only love, even if it does not quite feel right at the time, and convince ourselves that this is how love should look. This love focuses more on how others perceive us versus how we actually feel. So that's the first love. The second love is the hard love. This is a love that teaches us lessons about ourselves and what we need to feel loved in any relationship. This love brings with it great pain, the pain of loss, deceit, and lies. During this love, we believe we are doing things differently, but we are not. We tend to hold steadfast to this love because this relationship is different from the last one. However, this one is the one where we will grow. This is the one where we will experience pain, and this is the love where we will realize what we really need out of our next relationship. So that's the second love. It also said that the second love could sometimes include emotional or physical abuse because you're so intent upon hanging on to that love. And then the third love. The last love is a love that comes out of left field. This is a love that surprises us and destroys any ideas of what we believe our love should look like. This love is easy, and we wonder how it is possible that love could be this simple and has no complications. It is a love that sweeps us off our feet because we are not looking for a relationship. This is a love where everything feels as though it is falling perfectly into place. This love is uncomplicated and is not filled with expectations. Perfection is not something we feel pressure to achieve and find ourselves perfectly content in our lives and our relationship. This love does not look like the love we dreamed we would have, and this love does not follow any of the rules we had set up for ourselves. This love breaks any notions we had about what our greatest love would look like and shatters any beliefs of how we thought it would be. So those are the 3 types of love.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like it's a little legit because those first 2 I've experienced. The third one, I don't know what the fuck he at, but that one hasn't occurred. But I've experienced those first 2, and it was exactly as the author described it.
These hadn't necessarily been my experiences, but in dialogue with people, I mean, I'll agree that that's how it go. But I would say that I would think that it's more so phases of your life rather than individual relationships.
You're in a different phase.
I feel like you're in a puppy love phase because that's what puppy love phase for the first love, where you just, all of the people fall into the category of your mentality as it pertains to love and relationships at that time, which is going to be that this is creating what love is for me. Especially if you're the kind of person who, because I think it's 2 kind of people who get into a relationship and then learn about the person and then make a decision as to whether they're going to stay, and then somebody who learns about a person as much as they're going to learn and then make an informed decision as to whether they want to move further with that person.
Do you think people do that when they're young though? I don't know. Do you think young people do that, like with your first love? Because most of the time you in high school, and that requires that requires the the long-term thought process that you don't possess at that time. Like, you don't think about consequences, and
it might not be as intentional as I'm making it sound.
Okay.
But they don't just be like, hey, you pretty, hey, you handsome, let's get in
yeah.
a relationship. Some people do that. That's the version I'm talking about, where it's like physical attraction puts you in a relationship, and then you be like, now let's learn about each other. As opposed to two people might just be hanging around each other. You know, and the high school version of it is they just hanging around each other and chilling, and at some point they be like, oh, we should get in a relationship. We know stuff about each other now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
yeah.
I think that comes in varying levels. I don't think they have the mind capacity to be that intentional about it, but I think they do. But I think it depends on if you're that kind of person that jump into relationships real quick. I think that how you feel about relationships and what you start to learn about relationships is going to be a compilation of all of those relationships that you got in and got out of. You know, I don't think that your first relationship is going to be phase 1 and the second one's going to be phase 2 if you still 16 and 17 doing this stuff.
Well, it's not relationships though. This is love, not It's not every relationship. The article says you have 3 loves in your life, not 3 relationships. So that means that you're involved in relationships where you aren't in love with the person, even though you may think that you are. It doesn't say you get 3 relationships. It says you get 3 loves. So
I guess that makes it depend on if that person is a person that love in them relationships, right?
I mean, sometimes in my experience, because I've been in a situation where at the time I thought I was in love, and then later on I look back on it to be like, oh, fuck no. Like, that was not
you know what? I kind of call myself on that because I think it's unfair to myself, you know, and I just think it's unfair to myself to say today that I've never been in love just because I'm not in love with the person I was saying I love you to at that time.
I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that you're never in love, but I think sometimes people mistake love for infatuation. People mistake love for like sometimes you think it's love when it's not. You legitimately think that that's what it is, and it really was. And not that I just don't love him now. I never did. Like, it was based on something that wasn't love.
Well, what I say is I loved a person based on what I believed love was at the time. I have never loved in the way that I believe love exists today, but every relationship propelled what I believe love was to another level. So I can't say, I mean, I can say technically that I never loved, but at that moment, at that time, I believe that's what it was. My existence was that I loved that person. And so I hate to just cop out and say, no, I ain't never been in love before.
I mean,
I've never been in what I define love. And I'm not, I mean, that's
I
just me.
I wouldn't say that I've never been in love, but I have been in situations where I thought it was and it wasn't. And I have actually been in love. So I don't know. I feel like as you grow, you learn that a lot of the things that I used to believe I found to not be fucking true. So why would my feelings at the time not be different as well? Like, of course you feel like something in the moment, but that doesn't make it true because you felt it in that moment. It may have been based on some bullshit. I don't know.
And I hadn't experienced that.
Oh, okay.
Because anybody I done told I love you, like anybody that came out of my mouth towards them, that's how I felt. And if that hadn't come out of my mouth, I didn't feel that way. I mean, it's people I dated that I never said that to.
Yeah,
you know?
I do.
So if I said it, I meant it, but it's not what today, what it is for me, what it was then. I guess
let me give you an example of what I'm saying. I dated, so after what I would count as my actual first love, I dated a guy. Now, my actual first love got a bitch pregnant. That wasn't me because I don't have no kids. And that hurt like a bitch. So the next guy that I dated him because he was safe. Right? I dated him because he was somebody that I never had to worry about going through that pain in particular again. Now, because he was so much different from the other dude, at the time I thought that I was in love with him. I wasn't. I was in love with the concept of not having to deal with what I dealt with before. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't him. It didn't have shit to do with him. It was what he provided to me, which was a level of comfort that I didn't have. Like, because I was very naive with that first love, so that shit came completely out of left field for me that he was out here because in my mind, there's no way he would do that. He's not that guy. He would never do that. So finding out that people were capable of bullshit, or he in particular was capable of bullshit, fucked with me. So the next guy, I didn't want to have to deal with that. So I picked somebody who was extraordinarily safe. Now, I don't know that that was an intentional thing, but that's what I did. And like now, there's no fucking way we could ever be together because he drives me crazy, because he's very people pleasing. I can't stand that shit. I didn't like it at the time, but it was like, well, at least he's trying. And so because he made me feel safe, I felt like I loved him. But I don't think I did. I think I liked the safety he provided and not having to, you know, be worried about he gonna come and sit on the bleachers and tell me he got some bitch pregnant. I wasn't gonna have to deal with that with him, because he definitely was not that person at all. So I don't think it's doing a disservice to him. I cared about him. I still care about him now because he's a nice person. I don't think I was ever like in love with him. I don't. I think that I felt safe. He provided me the safety that I needed at the time as I was nursing this broken ass, mangled ass little heart that I had at the time. So that's what I mean. I mean, sometimes you look back at situations and realize that it wasn't the person. It wasn't the who they are as a person. It was what they provided. He provided I hate to say he provided a service because that sounds like prostitution, but like he provided
gigolo.
He was definitely not nobody's gigolo. But he was a safety net. I needed that after that shit ass relationship, because that last relationship before him fucked up my self-esteem. It fucked up my naive. I was no longer naive. Like I felt like niggas were just fuck boys. And I didn't want to have to deal with somebody that was going to potentially do the same thing. So I picked somebody that I would never have to worry about doing that. And I didn't. I never questioned his loyalty to me. Not once. Because I didn't have to. He provided that for me. So that's what I mean by like, you could think that you in love with somebody at the time based off of some shit that ain't something you should base love off of.
And that, I mean, I guess that's why it's different. I mean, one, I ain't had that many relationships, but you know, number two, I don't feel like any of my relationship choices was based off anything that had happened in my previous one.
Okay.
I think they're all isolated ways of how I chose to be with somebody.
Wish that was the case.
You
like
know?
that would have been nice. I was an asshole to him too. I feel bad. Like I don't feel bad about a lot of shit in my life. I do feel bad about him because he just came along at a like shit ass time, and I haven't been like I was an unintentional. Now I'm an unintentional asshole to people. Then that was like an unintentional me being an asshole, and that's like one of the things that I would do differently if I could like change it. Because he really was just a nice dude.
Yeah.
And I think he liked me genuinely, and I liked him, just not like in that way. He was just safe.
Well, that propelled him into his third situation.
I mean, he hung on to me for the longest. I'm talking up until like probably 5 years ago, held on to that shit. It was crazy. This was a high school relationship. But my mom loved him. And every time Christmas and shit, he would come over to the house, and it was fucking weird. It was a lot. It was crazy. It took him a long time to let that shit. And that's another reason why I felt bad, is because like he just wouldn't let it go. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like this, as far as my life is concerned, is legit, because I feel like there have been only two main like people that I could, when I think about like whether or not I've loved somebody, my mind goes to two people, and that's it. Like, so, and the description of those first and second loves, right on, like 100%.
I guess from my experiences, I guess I think it makes love too concrete in terms of this was your first love, you know, this was your second love, when over the course of them times, depending on the kind of person you are, you could have loved a bunch of people or you could have loved none, you know. And so what does it look like when you 26 and can't say that you don't love somebody, You know,
but
how far does this
mean,
thing span? You know,
I mean, it says that your first love is oftentimes in high school, but it doesn't have to be. If you're 26 and ain't never been in love, that just means you haven't encountered your first love yet. That doesn't mean that it won't follow suit still.
But I feel like at that point in time, probably through experience vicariously through other people's relationships, through your parents, grandparents' relationship, you formed that understanding of what you believe love's supposed to be. Like, you don't get to 26 without knowing what it is.
That don't mean that you've experienced it just because you know what your definition of it is, or just because you know what it looks like to you. It don't mean you didn't found it.
But I don't feel like the first relationship you get in at age 26 is going to create a brand new, like, you don't go into that thing blank with a blank slate and you don't come out of it with all that other stuff gone, and now this just took over because this the first love.
I don't know.
I don't know. And I mean, clearly, I don't want to paint with a broad brush. Clearly, for some people, it will. For some people, every relationship erase everything they knew about relationships, and the next one just be their whole new template for it. I mean, it's people with the kind of personalities that adopt to them things like that.
It's definitely not my person.
I mean, clearly not.
I've dated many people in between that second love and like just here and now, not having encountered the third one yet, and none of them, I mean, they're memorable, but not really. Like, it wasn't.
So would you call the second one then? If you're saying that you weren't in love with that person, like, what made that? If you saying that you weren't in love with that person, you didn't realize you wasn't, then what makes that person the second?
He's not the second. I'm not counting him as the second person I was in love with.
So you only had the first one.
I had the first one. Then that's what I was saying about. I use that as an example of. I thought I was in love at that time. Now that I'm older and I look back, I know that wasn't love. He was not my second love. He wasn't in the number. My second love didn't happen until college, and it wasn't him.
Okay.
Yeah, because he wasn't love.
But were you painting that guy as the definition of the second?
Mm-mm.
Okay. I guess
because the second love is the one that you like hang on to and shit. When I graduated and I went to college, I broke up with him. I was not clinging on to him. I think that he had served the purpose and got me through that heartache that the first love had given me, but I didn't hang on to him. So no, I had the first one when I was in high school, but it wasn't him. And then I had the second one in college, and then I have not encountered the third one. And the way shit is going, I might be 50 years old before that shit happens. Cause it's dry out here in these streets. So
yeah, the first definition of love.
Did you find the article?
No.
Oh, okay.
I just put quick notes of each one of them because I knew I was gonna forget the first two and just remember the third one.
Okay,
but it's the first one is
where you were like naive and idealistic, and
I don't feel like I ever been naive.
No, I can't imagine that you have been.
I don't think I've ever been naive.
Probably not. I was like,
for better or for worse,
14, 15, 16. I was naive until that nigga got that bitch pregnant, and after that I became a lot more cynical about situations. Like, I became the pessimist that you see before you now, basically. Or I started becoming the pessimist that I am.
A big part of it that I spent a lot of time withdrawn from people for whatever reason.
I wasn't a people. I think the reason why that guy was able to why I was naive is because I wasn't spending a lot of time with people, and he was like, I wasn't the girl people were checking for. So like, him even being interested in me was just blew my mind. It was just like, what the fuck? Like, me? Are you sure? And so because of that, I just he chose me. Why would he fuck me over when he was the one who chose me? I didn't just go out here and find him. He came to me. So in my mind, that means that he's going to treat me nice. And he did, till I found out that bitch was pregnant.
My second love.
It's more unhealthy.
Yeah, I'm trying to put some people in these spots. This is what happened. They just went south.
See, as soon as I read this article, those two people popped in my mind. That's what I'm saying. Like, they were the only two people that I would put in those spots.
Yeah, nah. Like, I don't have that, you know.
They were very clearly in my mind. Like, nobody else would fit. They were the only two. And ain't nobody obviously.
And I ain't got no trauma. I don't want to call it trauma specific, but like, they weren't even that. They didn't leave that big of an impression or mark on me.
Surprisingly, both of them got people pregnant while they were with me. Maybe that's why they're so fucking memorable. I don't know, but
it branded the memory like a cow. You take this burned it in your brain.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's how that shit happened.
But they were the only two. Like, it was an unhealthy. The second one was unhealthy. I wasn't like. I wasn't physically abused, definitely. I don't know that I would call it emotional abuse. He was just real manipulative. Like, he was just a slick ass motherfucker. I don't know. And he would have you would be mad about some shit, and then you would talk to him, and then you would be questioning, like, should I be mad about this shit? Like, he was just very good at, like, manipulating situations. So I stayed for so long because I kept questioning, like, well, shit, maybe it's me. Like, maybe I'm just being really unreasonable right now. So yeah, I mean, they follow the definitions pretty good. Those are the only two people.
Yeah.
And the third, I would imagine, is how if I fall in love again, it'll be some shit. Cause I don't want to say I'm so cynical. I'm just like, shit is just dry out here. So like, now I'm just kind of like, okay, well, you know, maybe it'll happen, or maybe I don't know why every time I say this, people look at me like I'm crazy. Like, you realize that some people stay by themselves their whole fucking life. Like, that shit happens. There are people who never get married and have kids. And so when I say, like, I don't know, maybe that's my life, everybody's like, oh my God, why would you say that? But the shit is real. Like, that shit happens. There are people out here who don't never find the person that they gonna be with, and they be by themselves. I'm just realistic enough to know it's a possibility. Is it likely? I don't know. Is it gonna happen? I don't know. But I feel like it's a fucking possibility. Like, I might just not know. I might have Remy in Kingston, and I might do my therapy shit and help other people kids, but I may not get that for myself. And I realize that that's a possibility. So I feel like that third love is absolutely going to be out of the blue and just be like, where the fuck did you come from? When did this happen? Like, I feel like that's what it's going to be. I do think that, I think it's legit. I just don't think it fit in my experiences. But my experiences are very odd. Most of my life experiences are very odd and different. So much more of a logical person than the average person, though, I feel like. For better or for worse. Yes. So I feel like that's why it doesn't really speak to your experiences, because you're so fucking logical, like, all the time. For better or for worse. For better or for worse. So, yeah. So leave us a comment, write us a message, let us know, do y'all think that this is true? Does this sound like your life? I'm just curious to know if this is like, if you look back over your life, wherever you are right now, however old you are, have you had the first two love? You may not have. I mean, because again, there's not like an age group where these things are supposed to happen. I guess most people would say they had their first love in high school. I feel like, that's what happens. And then that second one could come anyway. If you in college, because you're around so many more people, I guess it's more likely it would be during that time, because you're exposed to so many. Because you get to be this age, you just see the same motherfuckers all the time. You go to work, you go home. You may go out here and there, but you see mainly the same people. College is just different people all the time. So, but yeah, let us know. Let us know. Does this sound like your life? Might be. At all. So, again, you can send in those responses or a question of your own to the website, or you can send it to our Gmail account, which is conversationconartists with an S at gmail.com. So, yeah. You want to start with Nicki? Yep. You want to start with her or her brother? I don't care. Okay, let's just get her out of the way. Her response was ass. She waited like 3 fucking weeks If y'all don't know, I obviously been living under a rock. Remy Ma dropped 2 diss tracks. I want the second one, which I didn't even bother listening to because I thought that shit was so unnecessary. The first one being Sheether, set to the Nas diss track for Jay-Z from the 90s. And she killed Nicki. Nicki took 3 weeks to respond, and she responded with no frauds. Here's my issue with no frauds. Before anybody tell me that it's a good song, I'm not even really debating whether it's a good song. My issue is that it's not a good diss response, because you only spoke on like the first 40 seconds of the song. You got a song featuring Drake and Lil Wayne, and that's your diss response. Why are you featuring people on your diss response? Like, as far as it being a catchy little song, sure, I'll give you that. As far as it being a great response to Remy Ma's diss, absolutely not. It was ass. It was terrible. You didn't even listen to it.
No, on purpose. I'm not gonna listen to it. I don't care.
You ain't gonna have no choice. You gonna, unless you just listen to like your Spotify
radio.
all
I've been
the
listening
time.
to Hamilton for 7 months.
Oh my God. Okay, well, you won't hear it, but it's gonna be on the. And I mean, people were saying like, "Oh, Nicki's smart because she made a song that's gonna be played on the." Here's the thing. Ether got played on the radio and he didn't have to feature no fucking body, and it was just a response to Jay-Z. So don't give me that shit about she did it so that it would get radio play. She could have just made a response and it could have got a radio play. She didn't need to. The fact that you saying she needed to feature Lil Wayne and Drake for it to get radio play sound crazy to me. Like, she could have done that and it still would have got radio play.
And Nicki Minaj could have responded to this whole beef and made a track.
Yep.
To feature on the radio.
Yep.
She could have made some moves to make herself money.
Yeah.
Like, there's no debate as to whether Nicki Minaj is going to make money in her career.
Yeah.
There's no debate as to whether she can make money. We know she can do all of those things, but she completely avoided this thing. And people are using the fact that, she wanted to make money. She put out a track on the rest. She wanted radio play. That ain't how it work. That ain't how it work in the rap game,
That's
y'all.
not how rap
I ain't
work.
no rap head. I ain't no hip hop head.
Please,
okay.
Let me reiterate that, because if I hear people have had some serious issues with these last few episodes when they're talking about hip hop shit, because hey, we are not hip hop heads at all. Like, the whole Remy Ma not being mainstream. Oh my God.
Listen, I'm just gonna say right now, the only thing I'm for certain that I know about hip hop is how to spell it. Okay. I'm gonna leave it right there. So whatever I say, you can invalidate it, whatever. But from my limited perspective, a part of rap culture is beef.
Yes.
A part of rap culture is freestyling against one another.
Yes.
Rap battles. Mm-hmm. That is a part of the hip hop culture. And what's the Come On Son dude name?
Come on, son.
Come on, son. Fuck. Ed Lover? Maybe?
I don't know.
Damn, he played in that movie.
What movie?
I can't remember the name of the movie.
God damn it. I don't know.
He got a podcast called Come On Son, and he got all this shit that be like, come on, son. Yeah, Ed Lover.
Okay.
He said, look, Nicki, you my friend. I know you from when you was hanging out with these people. We cool, but we from Queens. You got to rep Queens. And you need to beast out or tap out. Either one. You can either beast out and go at her, or you can tap out and be done. But you got to do one of them things.
I feel like she tapped out with this.
No, I mean, what he's saying is she need to verbally say, listen, I'm not getting into that beef. I don't want to do that.
Because even she said something about her having to get a pap, like insinuating that Papoose like Ghost wrote Sheether.
Probably did.
That's like the only memorable thing that she fucking said that I can remember. Because keep in mind, I only listened to the shit once. So that's the only thing. Now, again, I also only listened to Sheether once, and I still can tell you a lot of the shit Remy Ma said. There was nothing memorable about Nicki's verse, because she had one verse on this song because she featured Drake and Lil Wayne. I feel like it was a shitty response. So again, I'm not arguing whether or not the song is nice. I'm not gonna play the shit, but for like Nicki fans and fans of Lil Wayne and Drake, I'm sure y'all love the song. not a question about whether or not the song is going to be profitable. It's about whether or not it was a good response. And it was not. It was awful.
The thing is, if somebody punch you in the face, you punch them back.
You don't go get two other people and come back.
Yeah, you don't.
3 weeks later.
You don't hold your face, look at them in disbelief, and just walk away real slow, way back, and then come back later with two people.
Come back 3 weeks later, be like, bitch, you remember when you hit me 3 weeks ago? We finna whoop you.
Like, that's the equivalent of what she did. That's not what you do in a rap battle.
It's not.
And you lose respect. But the thing is, Nicki don't care about that respect on the street level, I believe. Remy Ma do care about the respect on the street level. Like, it's just, they're in different worlds. I would be more inclined to call Nicki Minaj a pop star more than a rapper.
That's what a lot of people have been saying.
Because she caters to, and not because of what she does. I think that's because of the crowds that she caters to. I mean, she's had some good rap verses, but she caters to a crowd that don't care about Remy Ma beef. They ain't in hip hop genre. They not in that genre. The people that supporting Remy, they are hip hop heads. They are supporting that. So they looking for something from Nicki that her fan base don't care about. Yeah. And so I'm inclined to say Nicki don't care about it because her fan base don't care about it. But don't be passive aggressive out here. I mean, don't be dropping passive subtle lines in your songs from here on out about Remy Ma.
Just shut the fuck up.
Like, just leave it be.
Yep.
If you ain't gonna do nothing, don't be there. But cause this ain't gonna lose. I don't feel like this ain't gonna lose Nicki Minaj no money.
No, it ain't.
At all.
I don't think this is gonna impact her the way that the Drake beef impacted me.
Was Meek Mill anything before Drake?
I mean,
his shit probably ain't changed. The only people buying his shit from his hometown.
See, now you saying that, and some of these hip hop folks is gonna be upset. I really don't. Meek Mill yells. I think I've said this before. I don't like people yelling at me, even if it's through a song. I don't understand why he got to be so loud. So I don't listen to his shit. I also don't follow his record sales and none of that other shit. But I feel like he started losing, like, even just as far as his life is concerned. After that, he started taking these L's. He got on house arrest and shit, and people was making fun, like, shit like him falling down the stairs became it. Like, he just started losing that life after that. Even if he didn't lose money, he just started taking L's left and right.
The way that I look at Meek Mill is I look at Meek Mill as the dude that everybody just knows is clumsy. Like, I don't think that he's losing per se. Like, Ja Rule lost, okay?
Yes.
I feel like Meek Mill just that dude that always fall and they be like, help that mother, help his ass up. And they get him up and help him go about it. I think people just do that for, like, I think that's Meek Mill. I think he ain't going to, I don't think he was impacted that much, more so than becoming the butt of all the jokes.
But, like, I feel like he was more in the spotlight with his clumsiness. Like, I don't feel like niggas knew he was that. I feel like the people in his circle may be like, help that nigga up. I don't feel like we knew that he was that fucking clumsy to after that. And now it's just like he just falling.
What happened is he fell on stage in front of the whole school. All right, now everybody know he clumsy. And when you go to his homeboys, be like, yeah, he always falling and shit. It's all good though. He cool people. Like, I feel like, I don't know, I don't hate Meek Mill.
I don't hate him either, but I feel like he
I don't have no negative from all the stuff that been going on. I ain't got no negative thoughts about Meek Mill for some reason. I don't know what it is.
I just think he catch a lot of L's. I don't like him or dislike him. I don't like his music for sure because he screams too much.
I've chosen sides in a lot of battles. I've chosen sides in a lot of shit.
I didn't really give a fuck about him and Drake. I feel like Drake won for sure.
Maybe I'm just so impartial to his existence that it ain't terrible. Even registering.
You apathetic as shit when it comes to this man's existence. That's terrible.
It's a lot of people under that.
No, it is.
Like, but as far as him, I'm gonna be one. Why didn't I choose sides? Like, I chose between Jay-Z and Nas. I chose between Tupac and everybody else. I was on Tupac's side. I don't care who he was beefing with. Fuck everybody else. Since he died, now I've come around to, respect all the other artists in whatever forms they are. But I've chosen a lot of sides, but like, I don't think I care for Drake at all. For whatever, like, he got some catchy songs.
You cannot care for him and still admit that he won that though.
I cannot care for him and say that I like a lot of his songs.
Yeah.
But like, it don't have to be Drake. Like, if Drake didn't exist and it was another person that looked completely different and did all the Drake songs, I might feel better about
What
that
the fuck
person.
you got against Drake?
I don't know. He just seems so fucking smug about everything.
I mean, he's done pretty well. I mean, not to say he should be smug, but he got reasons to be smug.
I don't know.
It's better him have reasons to be smug than some of these smug motherfuckers that
like
you be like, really, nigga?
I feel like smugness is a smart version of arrogance. Like dumb niggas is arrogant. You know,
smart niggas
are smug. I don't like arrogance and I don't like smugness, and I can't call him arrogance because he ain't done nothing overt. But I feel like he believe he can have whatever he want, go whatever he want, wherever he want, do whatever he want.
You don't think Meek is arrogant? Cause he definitely ain't smart. So you don't think he arrogant?
I don't think Meek is that. I don't know. I mean, no more arrogant than you're supposed to portray yourself in rap. I feel like Drake is like, you know, I feel like he's arrogant in his relationships. I feel like he's arrogant with his friends.
Is he arrogant in his relationship?
I don't know. I'm just listen. I don't know what lens that I've just figured out this stuff from. I don't know.
The R&B thug of his.
I don't know what I saw.
He be crying and emo and shit. Like he an emo rap artist. I don't know that he's like arrogant in his relationship. He kind of out here looking crazy.
But the thing is, I mean, I'm diagnosing this from a unfounded perspective. I have no idea. Maybe it was a video. Like maybe it's his persona. I don't know Drake. For real.
The way you feel about Meek is how I feel about Drake. Look, I don't really give a shit about Drake. I don't really care. I don't like him, dislike him. He's Drake.
Okay, he just seems smug or something. But yeah, I mean, Drake won that shit.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, he did.
But Nicki, she got to do something. She got to either bow out or go for it. But
I
like,
think
if
she just gonna move on and not even say shit about
what's
it.
What's finna happen is Papoose and Remy Ma.
Oh yeah, cause they talked about Papoose in their song, and I think he gonna have some shit to say.
They about to make Fat Joe uncomfortable as fuck because he friends with every fucking body. Like Terror Squad, like he ain't gonna abandon Terror Squad, you know. But I don't know if he'll be distant from this situation because when she started doing that shit at the concert.
Oh yeah,
he stepped back. Put his mic down like they're my friends, you know. But
I don't know.
But I think I was saying that just in hip hop, that is a part of the culture. It's a small part of the culture. You don't have to participate in it, but just don't participate in it.
Yeah,
you know, get roasted, be roasted, and go on about your career. But you know, people are waiting for you. You know people expect something from you.
And this was shit.
That wasn't it. No, that was not a diss track. That was terrible. Not, you know, that was a pop song with some diss references.
Yep. Pretty much. Somebody said it was a bop. A bop. What was the bop? A little diss bop. a little ditty. So. You want to talk about a brother now?
Let's do it.
Okay, this nigga. So as y'all know, Nicki Minaj's brother has a case pending for raping a 12-year-old girl. And by rape, I mean forcing himself upon her because she's 12 but she can't consent. Now, first, they was talking about look at her sexual history, which was like, she fucking 12. If she fucked everybody in the neighborhood, nigga, it don't matter because the issue here is that you're, 35 or however the fuck old you are, she's 12. It don't matter if she was promiscuous or not. And the fact that that's your defense is horrible. Now it didn't come out that in part of him forcing her to have sex with him, he was saying, if you don't do this, basically I'm gonna sodomize you. Like, really, sir? Like that's how you get her to like go along with this, is to threaten to, if you don't do it this way, I'm gonna do it this way. It's gonna be worse.
If you don't let me sodomize you, I'm gonna sodomize you. Like,
which is kind of ironic because if he is convicted and he goes to prison, that's exactly what the fuck the prisoners are gonna do to him. Sodomize him. And it ain't gonna just be a threat of sodomize. They gonna do the shit. Like, what kind of person? Like,
would he say that? I wonder how he said it.
I mean,
who's gonna say
forced anal sex? I mean, I'm sure he didn't say sodomize, but that's what sodomy is. But
that's the same. So the definition of sodomy says sexual intercourse involving anal or oral copulation.
Oh, I didn't know oral was included in that. Most of the time when people say sodomize, they are referring to anal. Forced anal.
I questioned that a while back because Tupac always talked about how Wendy Williams said that he sodomized her in the club. So sodomy by the law definition got a lot more in it than just anal.
But I feel like when it's used, it's used for anal, because usually if it's like forced oral, that's what they'll say. Usually when you see sodomy, it's been forced anal sex. Like when they were saying that the priests were sodomized, they sodomized those. I guess that could have been oral.
Non-procreative sexual activity.
Okay. Well, that's anal
so
and
any
oral.
activity that won't produce.
That would be anal and oral. That is those two things.
And considering that it come from the Bible, I guess that does make sense.
I guess.
It's just still stupid.
How do you what kind of a threat is that? Like, have sex with me or I'm gonna fuck you in the ass. Like, what? What is that? What? Who says that? Like, this whole thing is just really fucking terrible. And let me just say, pedophiles are fucking horrible people. And I know that we're supposed to look at them as like people with problems. They're fucking terrible people.
Who said that?
That's how they're always like. It's like, well, he has a problem, and they need to be revealed.
Them number 0.5 people out of 10 say that. I just want to let you know.
They're terrible. They're fucking terrible.
Nobody says look at pedophiles as positive people. Can go find comment threads on about pedophiles, bro. You gonna find all kind of murderers in there.
But if you look at the Shade Room, I follow them on Instagram. In the comments, it is people taking up. Well, they saying, well, we don't know what happened, and ain't nobody saying. This is what I'm discussing, this based on the information that is coming out. Very obviously, this is America, and so until he's found guilty in the court of law, technically he's supposed to be innocent. But that is in the court of law. We all know people get tried in the court of public opinion way before they get tried in the court of law. That's just how the fuck shit works. So miss me with saying he hadn't been found guilty of it.
I feel like the only reason he even got people that's taking up for him is because he Nicki Minaj brother.
Yeah.
If there was a no-name motherfucker just in Boondocks town, then ain't nobody taking up for them people.
Hell no, because this is some shit that goes on all around America, unfortunately.
It's crazy that in his head, he's distinguishing a 12-year-old having sex with him consensually as not being raped and threatening to rape her if she don't consent to it. Like, if you have sex with a 12-year-old, whether it's forceful or not, in your mind, that's rape.
Yep.
A 12-year-old can't consent to shit.
And
a 12-year-old don't even have formal concrete operations in her mind. Fucking, you can't even pump gas till you goddamn 18. Yeah. What the fuck? You're telling me that you are expecting this 12-year-old to say yes, but that's our society has said people at certain ages are too young to do shit, right? And goddamn, it's depending on what state you're in, you got from 16 to goddamn motherfucker about to be in the casket to make them decisions. Don't fuck with the ones under 16, under 18, depending on what state you in. It ain't that hard.
And don't you cannot use as a defense what she was fucking other people. Like, what is that? That don't have shit to do with nothing. That goes back into this whole...
Their ass is gonna get murdered by Jim Bob too.
Yeah.
Like, don't be like, I fucked up too. What you're essentially saying is I fucked up and hey, I'm snitching on everybody else. You on that Shaq, that Kobe and Shaq shit. It ain't like... Saying that shit ain't gonna get you out of trouble, bro. It's just gonna get other people fucked up in the game, okay? Kobe talking about Shaq didn't get you out of the shithole. It got Shaq divorced, okay? That's how that shit worked. So for him, it don't help you none. What you're doing is you gonna launch a mass investigation into your neighborhood about pedophiles.
Pretty much. That's it. To say, well, investigate her sexual history. Her sexual history isn't in question, my nigga. She 12. Like, it don't matter. You're insane. And that's the saddest defense I've ever heard. Like, you gonna get locked up. And since you like sodomy so much, you gonna get all you can handle behind bars. Because that's what they do with pedophiles in prison.
Yep.
You at the bottom of the motherfucking food chain in prison when it comes to your crime, and you gonna get all the sodomy you can handle.
You gonna be wishing for the booty finger.
Oh, we went so many episodes without you mentioning that shit. We were doing so good.
I'm just saying. he gonna wish he was at a point in his life where the only thing he had to worry about was a finger being in his booty. That's where he gonna be at. Listen, don't commit crimes, y'all.
Yeah, I mean,
generally don't commit crimes,
and definitely don't commit no heinous shit like this shit.
I mean, damn, you at some point you're not gonna be able to avoid committing crimes. Okay,
is that true?
Yeah.
How so?
Fucking self-defense.
Oh, okay.
Ain't a crime. I mean, it's a crime if they don't find your ass having defended yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, it's some instances you're going to get put in where the line is so blurred as to whether you commit a crime or not that it's going to be a crime sometime and sometimes it's not. Don't go find crimes that you just shouldn't, but don't have sex with no 12-year-old.
Yes.
Don't have no sex with somebody that's 35 that look like they might be 12.
Yes.
Get their fucking ID and their records and go meet their parents and see how old they is.
Pretty much.
Like, how old are you, Miss Such and Such? Oh, you 60? So okay, you definitely had her when you was, so your daughter look 12, right? Yeah, she doesn't look like that whole life. Like, don't commit crimes.
Yeah.
Especially not them kind of crimes. I'm inclined to believe that he gonna get murdered in jail. He gonna get murdered in jail. He ain't gonna get.
He gonna get raped though. I mean, the end result might be him being murdered, but I feel like,
I feel like they're gonna rape him with something that ain't a body part.
No, yeah, that happens a lot. That's still ain't it still sodomy? It's
still
sodomy if it ain't a penis. Yeah. Okay, he's still gonna get sodomized.
Yeah. May
not be with a penis. Yeah.
They gonna find an onion in that man's ass.
Fucking what?
I don't know. I just feel like it'll burn for some reason. I don't know.
I don't even.
You wouldn't be able to get a tomato in.
Oh. You just went right off the rails.
I feel like an onion. It's gonna keep its shape.
Oh my God.
And I feel like when they try to get it out, the juice is gonna burn the inside of your ass.
I cannot continue with this line of conversation.
I'm just saying.
A fucking onion. Okay. I don't know.
That's bad.
It is. Okay. Well, since we were talking about, speaking of papoose earlier, so Kaya,
Jesus,
my neck, my back. Kaya, don't trust no niggas. Kaya, Kane Wang with it. I mean, for y'all younger listeners, y'all probably know who the fuck I'm talking about because all of this shit was like early 2000s. So y'all may not know who Kaya is. She is Thug Mrs. And I guess she wrote so badly to be able to like start a beef with Remy Ma herself that she been putting out these little videos talking about how Remy obviously ain't fucking papoose correctly and how she could do a better job. If you ain't never seen Kaya, pause right now and go Google Kaya because you need to see her to understand why this is so fucking ridiculous that she thinks she could take anybody, man. Kaya looked like the worst possible physical embodiment of like hood. Like think of like your worst possible image of like what hood is, and Kaya's like 10 rungs below that. Kaya looked horrible. She looks disgusting. Her body is gross. Her face is gross. Like even when this is years later, but even during my neck, my back, I'm looking at her thinking like, who the fuck is touching your neck or your back, let alone any of the other shit you described in this fucking song? Like seriously, she's gross.
So she came out with My Neck, My Back, which is a horrible song.
It is.
But when she came out, or a little bit after that, rumors came out that she had AIDS. Those are rumors.
Funny. Okay.
And I think that she addressed them at some point. I mean, I don't know why you would address it, but in my head, from that moment on, she became the embodiment of what AIDS looked like.
I fucking hate you so much.
I just feel like she looked like what AIDS looked like.
She just looked nasty. Like, I can't. That's why I said pause it and go look it up for yourself, because there is nothing we gonna be able to say that will do how nasty this woman looks justice. Like, she just looks disgusting, like dirty. She looked like she smelled like spoiled salmon. Like, I cannot do a description of her that would accurately depict what Kaya looks like. Like, y'all just have to like Google her and see if you are not familiar with her. Like I said, she had My Neck, My Back. She had Don't Trust No Niggas. She had Kane Wang With It, which is a dance that is still played if it's any 30-somethings and above in the room, because we still know how to do the dance.
All right. Combine the nastiest twerking video you ever seen with the stripper that you seen that had some scars and cut marks on her.
On Amateur Night. The stripper you saw on Amateur Night.
On
that
Amateur
had
Night.
Scars and cut marks.
Combined with the mama that you know be selling food stamps. Combined with the lady who come pick her kids up late from school. It's a bunch of other stuff to combine with, but take them 4. That's her. And somebody who got AIDS.
I really hate you so much for that. Didn't she deny those allegations?
I don't know. I mean,
I'm pretty sure she denied it.
I hope she didn't.
She's still out here talking about fucking somebody's husband. I hope she ain't got it.
She shouldn't have said nothing. Like, if somebody accuse you of something they ain't got, you ain't got, then, and you ain't.
I mean, I'm
a
gonna
political
say
figure.
this. I mean, well, I guess it's different now. Well, Kaya ain't got the money to get the good meds like Magic Johnson. So I feel like if it were true, she would be like sick or dead by now. Cause
yeah, I know it. I mean, I know it wasn't true,
but she does. Yeah, she just. Disgusting. Like, Papoose would have to be beyond desperate. Like, this would be some shit. Like, if somebody had a gun to your head and said, you either fuck her or I'm gonna blow your brains out, you might consider just being like, pull the trigger. Like, I'm
definitely dying. I'm out. I'm gonna repent for my sins just in case heaven real. And see if that loophole worked.
That's what she looked like. Where On Point would rather die than to be involved with her. Like, that's what she looked like.
The truth of the matter is, if I ever got in that position, I don't deserve. I've clearly started making decisions too poor for me to continue existing. Okay, if I'm in a room where somebody trying to get me to fuck Kaya and they got a gun in my head saying I'm gonna kill you if not, I'm like, it's like one of them scenes where it be like, you wonder how I got to this point. Well, let me tell you.
And then the movie tell
the whole story, and then at the end my brains just get blowed out because I ain't doing that shit.
So then, like, the last video I saw that somebody made her like I Love Papoose shirt with his like. And what's crazy is Papoose is an insane lyricist, so like he could come out with some shit to destroy her, like, and I don't even think he would, because that's who Kaya is. She that bitch that you just be like, fuck this, it ain't even worth it. Well, it's
Papoose,
Kaya.
I don't think Papoose would anyway. I think Remy Ma would,
yeah,
and I think that's what she's trying to provoke. She's trying to get a diss track about her whole career. Just so like what happened to Nicki Minaj. Yeah. And if she do, everybody gonna be looking up her shit and finding her shit. That's what she want.
But I feel like Remy, it's Kaya. Who the fuck cares? Like,
she don't even know who the fuck to go ask shit about Kaya. Like, who knows shit about Kaya? Where the fuck do I find out stuff about her?
I don't know, and I don't want to know. I don't want to know anybody that know anything substantial about fucking Kaya.
Remy Ma neither.
You done made bad decisions in life. That's the case. Like, Kaya is just gross. She's fucking gross, man. Like, I don't know. And speaking of bad decisions, you don't watch Black Ink Crew. Do you know what Black Ink Crew is, though?
Yes.
Okay, it's a reality show about a very famous tattoo parlor in New York. Mm-hmm. He now has opened a shop in Atlanta. here recently. Now, he dated this girl on the show named Duchess. He was engaged to Duchess. They broke up.
Duchess is a dog name.
It is. And that is a pretty accurate description of what his fiance looked like. So good for you. She was the most manipulative, like terrible person. I'm not gonna say he was the best because he did some niggerish shit, but she used him, I feel like, to get her own shot in North Carolina because she's actually from North Carolina. And she's back in North Carolina now because she used his fame to get her shop called Pretty in Ink open. Shortly after Pretty in Ink open, this random bitch come up talking about he got her sister pregnant, but ain't got no proof about this. And Duchess take that and run with it because she was ready to get out of this relationship because she had the shop she wanted anyway. So anyhow, I would say Duchess was not the best decision, and especially not getting engaged to Duchess was not a good decision on C's part. Now, he just then decided to continue making fucking bad decisions because now he's being attached to Carly Red, who is on another reality show called Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Carly Red is a bitch who is probably 60. Jokes are being made all the time about how old she is. Nobody knows for sure how old she is. She's not a terrible looking chick, but she like messy and just stupid. And it's like, why would you want to date another? I don't know if I said this on this show, if I said it when I was over on Government Name podcast, but I feel like when people start doing VH1 reality shows, it's the same way that you would feel if you saw your friend on crack. Like, nigga, when did you get on crack? I feel like them reality shows is like the bottom of the barrel. That's like you got on crack. He getting on crack vicariously. Like, she gonna have him snorting lines instead of like him just getting on the lines himself, because I feel like Black Ink is a watchable. It ain't like Love and Hip Hop. Like, I feel like it's a bit more watchable for me than Love and Hip Hop. It's not as ridiculous. And him fucking Carly Red is just bad decisions. Bad decisions on top of bad decisions on top of bad decisions. And I don't really know why.
Like,
all the bitches in Atlanta.
I personally feel like any reality show
is crack.
It's like jumping into a dumpster of bad decisions. Like, the whole dumpster is just full of bad decisions. Ain't no good decisions in it. That's the reason they in the dumpster. Because all good decisions got picked out of that shit. Yeah. And they all, if you on a reality show, you're in a dumpster of bad decisions. And the only way is to get out of there. And it might not be because you make bad decisions, but it's because this production is made to make it look like you make bad decisions even if you don't. Yeah. They're gonna cut and they're gonna edit and they're gonna make shit look crazy. And there's a bunch of reports of these shows making shit look like it ain't really, it exists. Yeah. It doesn't really exist because they edited it to be that way. But I feel like with Black that ain't crazy as fuck on Black Ink, and they fighting shit just like any other reality show. But I feel like he took that since he's been, I think this is like season 5 maybe of the show. He took that original fame from that. He didn't open up another shop. He got a second shop in New York, and now he got a third shop in Atlanta from the promotion that being on the show gave him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he was a big deal in New York already. People outside of New York know him now because of the show. But TV money, I'm sure, is much better than the tattoo money. I mean, he probably charged. I don't know how much. Them tattoos are nice as fuck. And as somebody who has tattoos, people paying a pretty penny getting art by. I mean, I'm sure it's increased his amount of money. Yeah, and I'm sure it's got tattoo artists in line ready to get into his shop. Yeah, so he probably don't have to worry about losing money. And tattoo artists that work there. Yeah. Even if it's not one that get on a TV show, he can open up a bunch of satellites, and I'm pretty sure that people he can make money. It's branded. It's become a greater brand. And I feel like I feel like he's an example. If you gonna be on crack, or if you gonna sell crack, I guess in his situation, he's using it to his advantage by opening more shops, and so making more money for himself. Carly Red is a dumbass broad. Like, why would you want to attach yourself So he done started getting high on his own supply.
Then started getting high on his own fucking supply. Whereas he was selling crack before with Black Ink. Now he's smoking it by being with Carla Red. And I don't want to see him on crack. I feel like this. I feel like it's two types of being on crack. There's a David Ruffin type of being on crack, and there's an Eddie Kane type of being on crack. Have you seen both of these movies I'm referring to? Mm-hmm. Eddie Kane was redeemable, right? He was on crack, and he came to the show in that sparkling ass suit singing Nights Like This and shit. At the end though, he turned his shit around. He was okay. David Ruffin smoked crack till he died. Like there wasn't no reforming him. Like it wasn't gonna say. I feel like Caesar is Eddie Kane. I feel like he could turn this shit around by stop making these fucking bad decisions when it come to women. Carla Red is not nobody. Don't need to be nobody's choice, but other motherfuckers that are on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Like let me give you, the person she was with before him was Young Jock. And Young Jock, it career wise is the same as fucking Kaya. When was the last? It's going down. When was the last time you remember a Young Jock hit? And he was just a meme last year because he got that perm looking like somebody's aunt. So I hate to see C's making such bad decisions because I felt sorry for him with Duchess because I think he actually did care about her, and I think she used him to like soar her star. Now she got that because the whole scene with the woman saying that he got her sister pregnant was not believable at all. And normally it's some shit that Duchess would have went off about, but she just went right along with it, and I feel like it was because she was looking for a way out. And a way for her to save face, so now she get to be, oh, poor me, he got somebody pregnant, oh my goodness, and he did me wrong, and I had to leave, and woe is me. As opposed to her just saying, you know what, nigga, I got my shop, I'm out. So I felt bad for him for that whole situation, but now I'm just like, come on, C's. Like, Carly Red, like, Carly Red, though, like.
She might be charming.
I don't, unless it's charming in a way that it seemed like a lot of New York niggas like the Southern accent. They
Maybe
like
he don't watch
girls
none of that
stuff.
shit. Maybe he don't watch none of that reality shit. Mm-hmm. Maybe he just got his show. He focused on his art. I guess he might have said if you open up a shop in Atlanta, you might as well meet some more of the reality stars, and he don't really know the baggage. It could be a lot of reasons. I
feel like if you're somebody in the spotlight, you need to be careful about who you fucking attach yourself to. Like, if I was him and people knew who I was, I'm gonna know about a motherfucker before we start being out in public together. Because I'm not finna be attached to some young jock ass motherfucker. Like, I'm not finna do that. He's a smart businessman. I feel like he should know better. Like,
would you go watch every season of a TV show that they was in?
Yeah, you ain't even gotta watch none of her show. Google Carly Red and tell you all you need to know that this bitch ain't somebody you need to fuck with. The bitch before Young Jock was Life Jennings, like that's who she was dating before Jock, and she trying to get with Jock on this season, I guess, because the seasons are aired like previous. But like, you can just Google her. You ain't gotta even watch the show. You can just Google her and see the shit that not Mano. What was his name with no neck? Oh, what is his name? She was fucking with him too. The nigga with no neck. Oh, what is his name? God damn it. It's not Mano.
Jabba the Hutt.
He looked like Jabba the Hutt, but it ain't Jabba the Hutt. The fuck is his name?
That's the only thing I can think of with no neck at the moment.
I don't know why I can't think of this nigga name. Everybody that she been attached to has been some niggas that you be like, what? Like, he the best nigga she been attached to. I say that. What is his name? He owned a magazine.
Benzino,
no neck having ass.
I put in Carly Red, no neck.
And Benzino. Because he's known for not having no fucking neck. Benzino, exactly, him. Like, these are the people that she's been attaching herself to. You don't want to be with nobody that been attached to Benzino? Like, come on, son. No. Just no.
Benzino eyes look like he blind.
He's not.
I know he ain't blind.
He's not blind. But yeah, I just wanted to just say that Caesar needs to stop making these bad decisions. And that is a perfect metaphor. He is a crack dealer who made his money and was able to like make it go in different directions. And now he just started getting high on his own supply. And him getting high on his own supply takes the form of him dating Carly Red. And it's terrible. It's terrible to see. I hope he is in fact like Eddie Kane and not David Ruffin. I hope he don't die because of this crack. Hope he get off before it's too late.
Get off of that ride.
Pretty much. But that's all I have.
All right. So, Mr. On Point, here to ruin your day with some
bullshit.
With some bullshit. There is a very, very long list of black privileges that's supposed to be challenging white privilege. So let me just throw out here what white privilege is, okay? And I'm gonna use some examples first. If I come into your house and I've never been in your house before, you got house privilege. You know everything is.
Yes, I do.
You created the system.
I did.
You the only one that can change it.
I am.
If somebody run in there and if you got a gun or if you got some kind of weapon and somebody run in there, I'm gonna die and you gonna live because I'm not gonna know where the weapon's at.
Yes.
You gonna know where they are. You got house privilege. If you've been playing Monopoly for 20 years and you invite me to play and it's my first day playing Monopoly,
yes,
you got Monopoly privilege.
I do.
You're going to amass wealth.
I am.
You're going to collect all the property. You're going to gain a lot of money while I'm trying to figure out how to exist in the system.
Yes.
You know, you'll have Monopoly privilege.
Yes.
If every white person moves to Africa tomorrow, Africans will have African privilege.
Yes.
Because they created the system to cater to themselves. And you got a lot of generations to go before y'all can really start learning the language and start integrating into the system. But you're never going to integrate to the level of the people who created the system and who the system was created for.
Yes.
That is the concept behind white privilege. White privilege just means that this system was made by people who have the same goals and as white people.
Yes.
Because those were the ones who made the rules.
Yes.
They the ones that set that house up to give you house privilege. They the ones who've been playing Monopoly for 20 years to give you Monopoly privilege. They're the ones who created and established this system to give themselves white privilege in this country. That's what it is. But what white privilege does not do, it does not guarantee you anything. And it does not guarantee that somebody else that is not white doesn't have anything. It doesn't guarantee you shit. It at the least has some very subtle implications on how our society exists. For example, a part of white privilege is that Band-Aids are skin colored.
Yep.
But not my skin color.
Nope.
Band-Aids were only made with white people in mind.
Yep.
You know, they have different color Band-Aids now, but none of them are brown skin still.
Yep.
You can get some Star Wars Band-Aids and you can get some Band-Aids with the life of pets on it and all kind of other creatures and stuff on it. SpongeBob, but there's still none for brown skin.
Yep.
You know, there is an ethnic section in Walmart. If you white, you might have walked by, you might have noticed it, but because you never have to use it, you might not even think it exists. There is an ethnic hair section.
That's where I go get all of my shit for my fro. Yes.
Like, white privilege just means that white people are the baseline for how America exists.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
And it provides some small advantages. It provides some big advantages, but it don't guarantee you that you have shit. It don't guarantee you as a white person that you're supposed to be successful. You know, it means that your ancestry, assuming that you're not Irish or Scottish, assuming that your ancestors have been here forever, it only guarantees that your ancestry had the opportunity to amass wealth. While mine was owned by somebody.
Yep.
While the Latinos were not allowed to come into this country. While other groups were treated poorly here. That's all it guarantees, that you've never had anything that can potentially hold you up but yourself.
Yes.
There was no system that held you up. At some point in time, there has been a war that held up Latinos. There have been unfair treatment that held up Asian Americans. There has been slavery that held up African Americans, and legislation to stop all of them people from doing anything that white America didn't want them to do.
Yep.
Because white America was the legislators. They were making the laws, and they still make the laws today. Y'all don't have to worry about that. White people, white privilege is not having to worry about anything when talks about a wall come up or talks about stop and frisk come up, because you don't get stopped and frisked, because you're not going to get deported because of a wall.
Yep.
You get the luxury of living a problem-free, worry-free life as it pertains to things that brown people worry about.
Yep.
You know, that's what white privilege is. And it just means that you got home court advantage. That's it. Home court advantage don't mean you're gonna win the game. It just means that you have so much more support than the other team, and the other team just has to get their mind right and work a little bit harder if they want to overcome the barriers of what that home court advantage provides. Yeah. That's what white privilege is. I'm just tired of hearing, when a white person, don't have nothing, they say, well, I don't have nothing, so I don't have white privilege. No, that don't mean you don't have white privilege. This country still caters to people that look like you. And for people who say, well, I had Scottish, my parents or my grandparents were Scottish immigrants or Irish immigrants or Jewish or Italian or any group that was treated unfairly with white skin. Well, that's true. Those groups were treated horribly and they had to overcome some shit. But a large part of that was they had the prerequisite in skin color to say, if I give up some of my traditions, if I give up how I name my children, if I give up clothes from my culture, if I give up how my culture talks, they won't be able to know that I'm Irish or Scottish.
Just white.
Yep. And it was in their best interest to forego all of that stuff to become a part of society. You can blend into society as a white Irish person, as a white Scottish person, as a Jewish person, as an Italian person. You can blend in to American society. The people that can't blend in are people that have cultural differences. An Asian person has distinct features from their region that white American look at them and say, you're Asian.
Yep.
And Latino has features that you can look at them and say they're, Latino. And black people have a feature that you can look at them and say they're black. We don't have the prerequisite to be able to fit in. We can always be singled out, targeted, and looked at from what we look like. Not from how we act, not from how we behave, not from how we talk, but merely how we look.
Yep. Stop
and frisk is a purely aesthetic-based action by the police in places that have implemented it.
Yep.
And when it comes to the wall and Latinos and immigration and Muslim and even stop and frisk, even if, I don't believe this, but even if Donald Trump's legislation and the legislators who have been trying to do that are the smartest people on earth and have the best intentions for handling immigration in this country, you're asking people that may not have the intelligence, that may not have the sensitivities to enact that legislation. How do you think a low intelligence TSA agent or a police officer or somebody, how do you think they're going to determine whether somebody is Muslim or not? Because Muhammad Ali Jr. has been detained twice because he's Muslim, but you can't tell from looking at a person what their faith is.
You can't by that name, no.
You can't by the name. So they're using these trivial things to determine whether these people are Muslim. And they're using the race of black people to determine whether they need to be stopped and frisked. That stuff is not fair. And the question that you need to ask yourself when it comes to is this okay? You need to ask, is it okay for an American citizen who might be a Muslim, who is black, who practice whatever faith they want and is a part of any group they want, if they're an American citizen, because there are American citizens of all sexes, religions, races, creed, all of that. Should the American citizens who are not doing wrong have to suffer for them to be able to cherry pick out some people who are doing wrong?
Yeah.
That's the question. Should I, as an American citizen, have to be subjugated to being stopped and frisked because other people might be doing bad? Stop and frisk has not shown an increase in apprehension of people who've committed crimes. It's not shown a decrease in crimes in the areas that they get stopped and frisked. It's shown a stronger disrespect for the police. And for the police, it's shown a stronger disrespect for those communities.
Yeah.
But that's the problem with talking about a wall. That's the problem with talking about immigration, because there are too many American citizens that look like the people that Donald Trump want to deport. And you know what? The people that I live beside, they don't know how to determine whether somebody is illegal or not. So they use their eyes.
Yep.
And with our society, and especially in Alabama, that tends to be everybody who Latino must be illegal immigrants.
Yep.
And everybody with a hijab on must be a Muslim. Or everybody with a name that sounds Muslim must be a Muslim.
Yep.
That's the only base they use. And you know what? That's going to harm American citizens. And that's not something I can support. And you know what? White people who believe in the Constitution, constitutionalists, you shouldn't believe in it either. Because if the police came to your neighborhood, let's say your whole neighborhood is a neighborhood full of gun enthusiasts, and it's somebody who go out and use their gun inappropriately every night, just shooting off into the woods and shooting off in the air, and the police come every day and they come to everybody's house and says, hey, I need to check your firearm to make sure it hasn't been discharged recently. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't be okay with that, because you're an American citizen that is abiding by the rules, that is doing what you're supposed to do. You should not have to suffer because this one fool somewhere in your neighborhood is being irresponsible. And nor should I.
Yep.
And nor should Latino American citizens, and nor should Asian American citizens. They shouldn't have to suffer. Now, I will say that upon watching more and more videos as this immigration comes about, every now and then I adopt some new perspective. There are a lot of legal Latino citizens that want the wall built too, that are supporting immigration legislation. The reason being is because a lot of them, because they are choosing to immigrate the right way or have immigrated the right way, a lot of them have family that they trying to get to America. And their families are stuck over in Mexico, but all of these other illegal immigrants keep coming in and coming in, and it's just making the queue bigger. It's putting them behind.
Yeah.
And so I've come to understand the dilemma in how we fix immigration, because that is a dilemma. You know, it's not a really quick system to get into America legally.
No, it is not.
And in most case scenarios, you can't become a legal citizen. It's a lot of ways that you can work visas, education, a lot of those things. But if you're just a person that want to come to America, it's not easy. It's even the possible.
Visas are, because the visas don't mean you're a citizen. It just means you here for that particular purpose. And when that purpose is done, like if it's for school, you got to take your ass back where you from.
But that doesn't mean that everybody needs to be blocked out. What that means is that there needs to be a much, much more intricate and well thought out way of dealing with immigration. I mean, the government is handling this shit with a fucking sledgehammer.
Yep.
We gonna build a big ass wall and block shit out. You know, or we gonna give everybody amnesty and let everybody in. That's a sledgehammer too.
Yeah.
This shit is much more intricate than sledgehammer. This shit need an ice pick. This shit need a scalpel. We need to figure out where the problems of immigration coming in at, which is not rooted in what Donald Trump is talking about.
Nope.
Crimes and shit.
Fear mongering.
That's fear mongering. That ain't. We need to find out the real issues, and we need to figure out, you know, the people that, because there's a lot of illegal immigrants that pay their taxes every single year. If your argument is that they're not putting into society, then what do you do about those people? What do you do? So I'm coming to understand it as a bigger issue than just, you know, as a humanitarian and as a person who loves people, we need to let everybody in. We need to make the process easy. Well, that ain't so cut and dry. You know, so if you're a person that's been looking into immigration, look into some of the other arguments. Now, politicians don't argue it right. They just don't at the end of the day. They go motivated. They're trying to get something. But I've come to find some new perspective to give me some ways, some more stuff to look into as it pertains to it. But I just wanted to talk about, so all of that was going into black privilege, right?
Which doesn't exist.
Yeah, black privilege don't exist, but there is a group of conservative people that believe it exists. And I've always heard black privilege thrown around, but I didn't understand the depths to how deeply ingrained white people believe that black people have something because the government have stepped in to try to keep them from being righteously fucked over.
I don't think they know what privilege means.
Yeah, you don't,
because the things that they list are not privilege. Like, you're not gaining something from the things in their little black privilege list. Like, it sounds stupid as shit.
I'm gonna get started on the list. It's time running up. Black privilege is being able to take pride in your race without fear of persecution. Now, this is the idea that if a white person says white power, they get called a racist. But if a black person says black power or Black Lives Matter,
around saying black power?
Well, I mean, somebody did at some point in the 70s.
I say it currently, but black is more Black Lives Matter.
Even a general sense of just being proud, I'm black and I'm proud. Mm-hmm. You can't say I'm white and I'm proud, you know? Well, that's because white people in America, and this is what I feel, white people from the dawn of American existence have had the privilege of believing that they were worth something. They were never convinced that they were subhuman. They were never told that they were less than.
Or property. Or not even owned, human, just property.
Or 3/5 of a person.
Yep.
You know, no white people haven't experienced that. And so, excuse me if me and my culture have to tell ourselves that we are valuable and that we are worth something and that we have to say black power and Black Lives Matter to have a sense of camaraderie from something that you've never had to experience as a white person in America. Black privilege is when people assume you are poor because of racism, not because you're lazy or unmotivated. So that completely invalidates the component of our society that has been oppressed. Like, I think these people don't understand that racism is a dimmer switch, right? It's not an on and off light switch, because that's how a lot of racist white people treat racism. They treat it like, you know, I mean, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 fixed shit. You know, that it's not that cut and dry.
But then you have motherfuckers like Donald Trump saying, y'all might as well vote for me. Y'all all live in the inner city. Like, the assumption that's not being lazy or none of. I don't live in the inner city, but you assume that I do and that I'm, you know, getting benefits from the government because I'm black. That is racism. That's like terrible.
I think they look at racism as this little isolated thing. And one thing that I've recognized about, you know, most white people is that I think because white people exist around other racist white people all the time, non-racist white people exist around racist white people so much, I think they brush off racism. And so I think that when we experience racism from white people who are racist, I think that's why it's easy for them to overlook it. And I think that's why, because, you know, they don't express that racism with us. They don't express it overtly. They express it in the context of their friends and their family and people that they believe might accept those ideals, or at least people who don't challenge it. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's why it's so preposterous to us when that shit happened. But to them, it's just another fucking day at Jim Bob house. You know, to them, it's just another day at racist grandma house. You know, she's always been saying this stuff. We don't pay grandma no attention. So I don't pay Jim Bob no attention. And I don't pay the Oscars no attention. And I don't pay cultural appropriation and Ghost in the Shell and The Wall and all these different movies where, you know, white people are portraying different cultures.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's a part of it too. Black privilege is being wealthy without people assuming your wealth was all handed to you or that you exploited others to obtain that wealth. Wealth in the black community is so fucking hard to come by.
It is.
Statistically, when you talk about all of the wealth that exists, it exists minimally in the African American community. To say that it's a black privilege to be wealthy and just somebody don't assume it was handed down to you. The idea that you think that because people assume that you worked hard for your money, but they assume that they assume my uncles gave it to me. Well, a lot of white America have rich family members that gave them money. What the fuck are you talking about?
Donald Trump got a small loan of $1 million. No, was that him or what's the other guy that was running that said that the middle class has a net and they don't need to be worried about?
I don't know.
I can't think of his name.
And that's not to say, I mean, every white person, every culture experience something that all the other cultures experience. Black people ain't just the poor people. White people ain't just the rich people.
Yep.
You know, there are rich versions of every culture. And there are poor versions of every culture. What we're talking about is the rates at which white people are everything good versus the rates at which brown people are everything bad. That's not because Latinos are bad at this, or black people are bad at this, or Asian people are bad at this. It's because the system has created the dialogue that told the world that everybody are these things. Mm-hmm. And people just run with it. Black privilege is being able to commit violent crimes against another race without people assuming you are racist.
Is that a privilege?
Ain't none of this shit privileges.
Right, that's the thing. I don't think they understand what the definition of
none
privilege
of these are
They're
privileges.
Not privileges. It's all like, well, you get to do this bad shit. Nobody thinks badly of it. Like,
yeah,
that ain't no privilege.
It's like, wah. People think I'm racist when I do stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. White tears.
That gives y'all privilege. That ain't no advantage.
Nope, it's not. Not at all.
This whole list is all based in the context of not being fucked over.
Yeah.
You know, like, black privilege is being given affirmative action, which provides advantages in jobs and colleges based on your skin tone. Really? You mean the same jobs that have 90% white people and 10% black employment? Like, how can it possibly be a privilege?
Because they don't know the definition of what privilege means.
How can it be a privilege if black people had took over the place? I feel like if affirmative action was something that would give black people an advantage, then it would be more black people than white people at any of these places. What affirmative action did was gave black people jobs in a time when people weren't hiring black people. And now all they do is limit how many people a corporation have to hire. But I'm inclined to believe that it may still be necessary because I don't think a lot of these corporations will hire black people.
Mm-mm. If they didn't have to, legally.
They didn't have to. A lot of them will. But it's a lot of them that won't.
Yep.
They'll just become whitewashed ass companies. Black privilege is having media cover up your race in the event of a black flash mob or gruesome murder. Now, that's just not true.
What?
That just ain't true. I didn't even read that before. That ain't true at all.
Hell no.
Not only that, but black people, when we commit some kind of atrocity,
this black man,
the worst picture they can find, the worst mug shot. They
you
try to humanize
teeth in your mouth and smoking the blunt like they did with Trayvon.
And they try to humanize white people.
Yep.
They keep putting white people's high school senior photos up for they crimes.
Brock Turner had the sweetest little photo up, and he had committed a rape. He just looked nice and innocent.
Yeah, that one just ain't true at all.
Nope.
Black privilege is being able to make insensitive comments about other races and not being called out on it. I mean, that's not black privilege. But what's the problem? I mean, I'm trying not to be insensitive. That black people do that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But cracker, I don't use that word at all.
I don't either.
But it don't weigh as much as nigga.
I saw a meme the other day that said, if you're trying to determine how bad which word is worse than the other, and you can't even say one of the words, like you'll say cracker, but white people will say the N word. They'll say cracker. Well, he called him a cracker, and then he called him the N word. You won't even say the word. That's how bad that word is. That lets you know which of those two words is worse. You won't even say it. You say the N word.
And the reason I say that the N word weighs more than the C word for continuity. The reason that the N word weighs more because there are people that the N word is the last word they heard before they died.
Yeah.
You know, and that's consistently at a certain period of time in our country. It might not be like that today, but that word over time has come to just have so many. It got too many bodies on it.
Yep.
The N word got too many bodies on it. Cracker, well, the C word don't have that many bodies on it. Black privileges. I'm just gonna shotgun this list. I ain't gonna comment on no more. Just know that all these are lies, bullshit, propaganda, manipulations, and they don't accurately represent a privilege. Black privilege is being able to make insensitive comment. I just read that one. Black privilege is when people assume that the police pull you over because of racism. Black privilege is having the media ignore black on black crime while blaming white people for not valuing black lives. Black privilege is being able to blame your shortcoming on racism. Black privilege is when people consider you to be superior at sports or better in bed without it being racist. Black privilege is not having to be fearful of offending minorities. Black privilege is having the establishment lie to cover up problems in your community or protect you from criticism.
What?
Black privilege is when you can be overrepresented in a certain field without people trying to amend it, i.e. Obama administration. Black privilege is having the government pander to your interests in order to get the black vote. Black privilege is having Hollywood always present you in a positive light. Fucking seriously? Okay, fuck that. Black privilege is being a thug trying to kill a police officer in the course of him doing his job and being made out to be some sort of hero. When does that happen? Black privilege is looting and stealing in response to a perceived injustice and not have the police be able to do anything about it.
Wait, okay. When white people are looting during Trump's inauguration,
No,
they weren't looting. They weren't destroying Starbucks. Who was destroying Starbucks?
White people.
Oh, okay. So they were destroying, being destructive,
No.
rioting. No?
They were white, so they were expressing their frustration.
Oh, okay.
They weren't. If they were black, they would have been rioting and looting and destroying the Starbucks.
Okay.
That's how the media paints it.
Okay.
Right. The last one is black privilege is having so-called black ministers promote racism and condone acts of violence, and the liberal media refuses to honestly report those facts.
What?
Look, let me tell you something about this list. One, the people who made it don't know what privilege is.
Hell no.
They don't know what facts are.
Nope. Alternative facts, maybe.
Yeah, they know what that is. And they don't research. They don't seek to understand the truth. They seek to find words that validate what they want to believe about people, what they want to believe about groups, and what they want to believe about society. And what they want to believe is that every single person in this society has the exact same opportunity to make it as anybody else. But there is no other context in which you create something that somebody else can be better at it than. In the Monopoly example, in the house example, in one culture moving to another country example, in the example of your profession and whatever you do, a person that don't know shit about it, that didn't have a hand in building it, they ain't gonna be able to catch up with you. Okay? That's just not how that shit works. And you're not going to tell me in the context of American society that they can automatically now, brown people can just catch up. Because the footing is supposed to be equal. It's not equal.
Nope, not at all.
Because an immigrant, an American citizen that look Muslim, that need to be somewhere in 3 hours to take a test, that get detained, gonna miss that test.
Yep.
And that's because there is legislation that keeps them from being able to go do that. If somebody is trying to get home to do whatever they supposed to do at home, and they in New York and they black, and they get stopped and frisked, they gonna miss that. Because the legislation allows them to be discriminated upon. That's white privilege. The white privilege is not that you have something, but it's that you don't have to worry about the shit that brown people worry about. That's just what it is. But anyway, sorry that I had to ruin your day. But I hope that it was more informative than it was stressful and frustrating. But I don't even want to post this shit on the page because I don't want to read it again.
Yeah.
It's just so stupid. But I did want to just talk about generally, just give some understandings of white privilege from my perspective, and just understanding that it don't mean that you have something. It just means that you have home court advantage in America. Yep. And sometimes you win with the home court advantage. Sometimes you fucking lose. And sometimes it's a blowout, and sometimes you win just by a point. That's just how it is. And you know what? We live with the shit.
Yep.
It's okay. Black people, white privilege exists. White people run this race with less hurdles than we do. But I be goddamned if I don't just learn how to jump over over some hurdles.
Yeah. That's what we've been doing for centuries.
We gotta be better hurdle jumpers if that's the case. You can't use the concept of white privilege to say, well, I'm not gonna race. I'm just gonna stay over here and watch. I'm not gonna try my hardest because it's not fair. I'm inclined to believe that this system ain't gonna be fair until the day that I die, and I'm not going to have less because of that. And that's just me. But that shit exists. Get through it. Anyway, that's all I got.
All right.
You got anything else on your mind?
We went to Art Beats and Lyrics this weekend. It was cool.
It was. They had a lot of cool art.
A lot of fucking people, though.
Yeah, it was. That had to be a fire hazard.
I'm sure it was. They may move it to a different venue next year. I don't know. When you have a free event like that, people gonna show up. Like, I don't know if they expected that many, but like that's what they have an Art on the Rocks during the summer. Mm-hmm. It's just like that. It be packed just like that, and people be outside just like. I mean, it's the same situation. It's just, it's a more mixed crowd than Arts, Beats, and Lyrics. It was a sprinkle of white people in Art, Beats, and Lyrics, and it's more of a mixed crowd in Art on the Rocks. So
yeah. And
the drinks are more, obviously, because Jack Daniels sponsored it. There's a different variety of drinks for Art on the Rocks as well. Because you jacking something was what you were going to have at Art, Beats, and Lyrics. So them was your only options. Or water.
Yep.
Or ginger ale. They had ginger ale.
People so disrespectful, though.
Yeah, they are.
We were in a line waiting to get some drinks. No, drink line.
Yeah.
And everybody just kept coming up the front from the side, giving somebody daps and standing there waiting for drinks. And I'm like, the rule breakers, the rule followers gonna suffer from the rule breakers.
And it was cold, so we really didn't want to be out there as it was. And I'm sure you really didn't want to be out there because you waiting in line for a drink you weren't gonna get. Just waiting with the group.
And that shit just took me right back. Saying the rule followers gonna suffer from the rule breakers just took me back to the immigration situation.
Yeah.
It's like we were experiencing the exact same shit that I was saying that the legal immigrants are experiencing. Yep. You know,
it was the same way for the food line. That's how y'all got separated from us. Because at one point we were just like, "Fuck this! Nobody else is in front of us." Because y'all were like right behind us at first, and then I turned around. We had got our plate. It was eating. I was like, "Where they at?" Y'all hadn't even got to the table.
Oh, them little ratchet girls being disrespectful, just jumping in line. I'm pretty. He won't say anything. I'll get right here. You weren't that pretty. Number one, none of y'all. And number two, it was some, I'm pretty sure some refined women in here, but most of them was ratchet.
Yeah.
And sophisticated ratchet.
Yes.
That's just what it was.
Yes, it was.
And all these bougie women just jumping in line in front of us. And we was just, because we were having conversation, we weren't really caring.
Yeah. Because I was like, how did they get that far behind us? Because we had got, at one point, we were just like, fuck it. Nobody else. No. And that's how we got through so fast. It wasn't even worth the food wasn't worth the wait, but whatever.
It wasn't.
At all.
I mean, it wasn't bad.
It was what you would expect for like an event like that. I wasn't expecting them to have food
white
at
folk
all.
hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah.
They were hors d'oeuvres. They
Yes.
don't have to say white folk, just hors d'oeuvres.
They were just hors d'oeuvres. But I wasn't expecting, it's a free event. So, like, I knew they were going to have drinks because that's how they going to make their money back. And I knew the drinks were going to be expensive, $8 a pop for some ice and a little bit of drink. But I was not expecting them to have, like, free food. With black folks, free food, like, they're going to.
But Jack Daniels did not care that it was black folks.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they would have had some black folks related foods
Chicken.
in there.
Well, no chicken.
Wasn't nothing even fried. They had crackers and tuna.
And pizza, the little pizza things. I don't know what was on that pizza.
Pesto.
Oh, yeah.
How do you know it was pesto, Mr. On Point? Because pesto tastes like fresh cut grass to me. So when I eat it, I know I'm eating it. Because it tastes like fresh cut grass.
And it tastes like grass to me, but it definitely wasn't like pizza.
How many times have you cut the grass in the morning where the grass was kind of still a little bit damp?
I don't cut grass.
Well, if you had, you would know that all of them juices that went into your nasal passage that made you experience wet cut, that's what pesto tastes like.
I don't have a problem with pesto. So I guess I wouldn't have a problem eating grass if it came down.
You just wouldn't know the difference if somebody ran out of pesto and went outside and got some fresh cut
really
grass.
Fucked up. Let's hope nobody ever does that anywhere I am.
No, because the people who use pesto too sophisticated to do that.
Yeah,
they ratchet. They not ratchet.
Yeah,
they refined.
It was a cool ass event though. It was nice. I don't get out of the house, so that was cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
So, yeah.
But anyway, you got anything else on your mind?
That's it.
All right. Well, until we come to the next conversation.
We out.
Holla.